Hello again. Devil McVeigh here. I'm going to continue to talk about the state of YouTube and social media today. As far as I can see it, I don't got much of a high perspective, but I have a perspective that a lot of people can appreciate. That's ground level. I want you to take some time and very carefully look at the subtle features and actions hard-coded into YouTube and its like as it is run today. I have a few points to look into regarding the ever-present shadow bans, burying posts they think come from people they'd rather not let have any voice or attention, the hiding new and up-and-coming content creators in favor of the lackwits, who will easily lock in step with their garbage agendas and lay on their backs like good girls for the corporate sponsors. The sponsors, mind you, who are in fact the real customers and not the viewers. You're the product. Let's have a look and test a few features, shall we? I will start with the way some posts in the comments section stay at the top regardless of likes, even when they are years old, as opposed to the new ones that get instantly buried so they can marginalize you and us and play keep away with our favorite content creators' attention. Don't believe me? All you have to do is post something, then refresh the comment sections, and voila. The post is gone, buried and drowned amidst all the paid-for bot accounts and scam artists and other approved-of viewers, whether they're bots or not. Approved of by whom, you may ask? That's a damn fine question, because I would have to have a look at the leadership of this platform, YouTube or any other ones, to see for myself if I am, how you say, properly represented in the way these career snivellers try to force on people. So I won't, because I'm not one of these toddlers. But I bet soy is very well represented here. If you, dear viewer, are like me, you are not some fat or impotent loser with a rage over a world that you cannot keep up with because you want it to move as slow and as little as you do. You are instead a doer, who is so often hamstringed by pathetic people too overly interested in getting in your way that they actually choose to go above and beyond themselves to make sure people like us cannot affect change or accumulate wealth to do literally anything. They like us when we're poor. That's the only way they like us. Poor and desperate, because that's the only way we'll do business with these freaks. Let's call these people the Mungos. They are in places they don't qualify for, hired by their own underachieving kind to make sure everything is lame and ugly around them, so they, by comparison, do not appear as underwhelming in every aspect as they actually are. These Mungos are why a lot of creative modes of entertainment sour and rot on the vine. They get in everywhere they can and pollute the otherwise seaworthy vessel of creativity's ability to even cut through any waves or water due to their constant, desperately clinging to the hull of whatever vehicle that we creatives try to put out to make a living and float above the water and keep our heads above it. Like barnacles. I'm sure there's a saying in there, but I just don't know it. To a creative, an already quite fallible person as it is, the path to actually being able to create anything is literally, utterly all-consuming. All else falls back to a dull roar to keep as much of our barely working neurotic minds on task as possible. And these Mungos know and count on this. This is literally the only spark of smart they've ever had. And their idea is to burden us, since they can, since other people haven't been paying attention to us and our abilities, they have been trying to burden us. To wet their beaks, and they literally have no place to. They have no earned place to. These human flotsam will do anything they can to stifle you until they give you the go-ahead, and they can keep you under their thumbs so they can hold the rod and carrot and force themselves between you and your potential fan base or customer base or what have you. These simian barnacles plant themselves in your art like a flatworm feasting on your lower intestines, often even branding your art like a steer. As your manager and or employer or advertiser or whatever bullshit title they impose upon those born to be great at the expense of everything else in their lives. They stand in the way of progress, and pure and simply are a big part as to why all forms of art and entertainment become a watered-down mess of overly repeated slop that nobody cares to bother with because these halfwits can only think in tropes due to this half-baked idea that they know what you, the customer, want or need. When in actuality they know absolutely fuck all beyond how they can keep their stranglehold on everything because they are deep down incompetent at everything but being a parasite level speed bump on the road to prosperity. One has to merely look at the now decaying corpse of Hollyweird, buried in the communist state of California. Here, useless scumbags like Harvey Weinstein both had the audacity to gatekeep but also feed on the desperation of artists who tried to make it in Tinseltown. And even now in the Bohemian Grove's humiliation rituals and dark connotations of devilry also do their best to assert dominance over any creative artist or performer in any way they can because they know they are utterly worthless, burdensome, evolutionary baggage to everything worth doing or watching or even listening to, and are reminded of this every time they look in the mirror. So they are plagued by the fact that they are completely worthless to humankind, so they will never stop until you stop entertaining them. You see, YouTubes and services like it are currently in the downfall side of this, as they open their slutty legs to the commercialism and mainstream efforts to censor everything, so their true customers, the advertisers, can wipe their unwashed, autistic asses on your art as if you approved of them using your channel as a place to sell their trash tier wares and services without your permission. While some places online like Rumble and X these days will try to be the exception, we all know that it is simply too tempting for these career losers to just take, until there's nothing left of what once everyone loved. And when we try to make another way, another medium to have fun in, to entertain, to project art, these same mutants will come to gunk this new thing up with their brand of useless profiteering as well. It's all for control, and nobody stops them. And when they do, the people in control just push the actual talent out in favor of control and money, short-term wise. They can't think beyond the end of their nose. These freakish facsimiles of humanity will continue to do this because of ineptitude and jealousy. Both of these things are a bottomless pit of patheticness that are very hard for some of even the most upstanding people to free themselves of when they get stuck in it. So as you can imagine, the weakest of us, the Mungos, the ones who have given themselves to greed, lust for power, need for control, they are all in merely to stick it to all of us and be reductive to the human condition that they think themselves above merely because they have found ways to legally scam actual talent. So if you're like me, and you have a channel and cannot figure out as to why you cannot find a way to make your way, no matter how talented you are, it's not you, it's them. You are a good investment, but they want you to feel like nothing so they can offer you the lowest sum and make you think you are bottom rung so they can control you. They will try harder to do this the more talented you prove to be as well. I'll offer myself as a humble example. And I imagine there are people hundreds of times more talented than myself. I am an accomplished pencil artist with volumes of character art throughout years of tabletop roleplay with my friends, and many epic tales I have literally written from scratch that could easily be a blockbuster movie or a high-tier fantasy sci-fi novel. I play in 3 different bands in my area, feverishly trying to do better and better with singing and playing lead guitar. I literally don't care what the genre is. I have been in the martial arts sphere since I could properly throw a punch. And possibly worst of all, and a good likely reason as to why I'm never taken seriously, is the mere fact of the matter that I am not some short, fat-ass, bald loser with a criminal record, 5 bastard kids, and just like a low self-esteem. So therefore, I'm smarter than most beta males that lust for female validation. Therefore, I am immediately over-scrutinized and disqualified by short, fat, ugly losers who shove themselves into the bottlenecks of any way I would be able to properly go viral and support myself, because they like it when people like us are struggling. Because they can just simply and smugly say, well, looky here. Looks like being tall, dark, handsome, talented, and... talented in most arts doesn't get you anywhere in life. You see, when people like us fail, they think that by comparison, they win. And it will always be us versus the Mungos, period. If you have a boss, supervisor, manager, or director who is a disgusting, ugly, rich little troll, 8 times out of 10, they're not going to want you anywhere near anything of prominence. They will instead opt for someone ugly who will give up their asses to them like a good wanton whore instead, so they can project themselves and their ugly, mentally stunted kind to the ideal of ideal prosthetically, by cutting you off like a desperate starving coyote gnawing off their paw to escape the trap of their own mental, moral, and physical wretchedness. But alas, once they get this ugliness in their heart, there is simply no escaping it. People like me can smell it from miles away once we've been exposed to it. You deserve better. Good night, guys. Check it out. GTA has even gotten a heavier, shorter cooldown to kick you off. These people are just trash. Trash. Never be like these scumbags. Parasites. Good night, guys.